Hey, welcome back to Two Super Guys Trade Stocks. I'm Dylan.
Vinny?
And TLT having a very, very rough week. We had a lot of comments on the last video on how the SOM rule is broken, never before seen in history, and the inflation change, not ideal for TLT. So we're going to look at some possible scenarios and some data that's come out, and a new antithesis for TLT, which I thought was interesting. We're gonna take a look at it. We did this video. The two biggest questions to this were: can the data for unemployment be trusted? And then the is TLT tanking? One, hate that term. No. Look at Nicola's chart. That's a
Yeah,
tank. Okay.
that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, it's hard for a bond ETF to tank.
Yeah.
That's something like crypto, pump and dump, or some like fly by night unprofitable company can do, but that's about it.
There was like multiple comments, and every time I checked, like the day was like it was down 0.8%. It was like it's a hardcore tank.
Yeah.
Um, and then can the data be trusted? Valid. A lot of questions on that, and then we're gonna look at some new inflation data. I just want to put this into context. So these red lines, if you follow this channel, I've had these same support lines drawn forever. I don't know, a year. I just want to zoom in. This is where we are right now. This is 92. This is 88. This is 82, and this is 101-ish. All right, so we're approaching this first support. This is just called price action. This isn't called tanking. Stocks go between prices. I'm just going to zoom out real quick. Look how well these hold. I don't know. Like, it's perfect. Look at this. Hit, 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 hit. Instead of counting all the hits, I just did it for you. So
Wow.
when it's in the middle of these zones, it's just price action. I don't know.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And
It works really well.
the other thing that I highlight really too there is just how depressed the valuation is from like the all-time high that we saw in TLT as well. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Look, you have unemployment and, well, actually I have a good post for this. So basically what's happening, you have inflation who is hitting back harder. It's still not quite where we want it. You have unemployment that is still very, very good. What do they say in the movie? An immovable object versus an unstoppable force. I've
Oh
only seen
yeah.
this movie 17 or 18 times. So,
I mean, it's a fantastic movie, I will say.
oh, well,
And
the first
Agent
one
Smith
was.
should have won. That's all I'll say about that.
So here's the economy. We're just, watching to see what happens, essentially. Now, the core inflation rate came out. This was probably why TLT is not having a great week. All right. So the actual, you can see we actually bumped up. Now, core is the
Yeah.
one that they really care about.
Mhm.
It's, I guess, how do I say, more hardy, and it gets rid of energy and food, right?
Yeah, less volatile
Less
is the way
volatile.
they
There
would
we go.
describe it.
I said hardy. What an idiot.
Yeah. Well,
Dylan, you're so
yeah,
stupid.
maybe you
Um,
want soup. I don't know.
I do not feel good. That's true. So actual 3.3, consensus 3.2, and they were forecasting 3.1. So not ideal. All right.
Hmm.
This is just the inflation rate with everything factored in. Same thing, the actual 2.4, forecasting 2.3. So it's a little bit stickier. It's nowhere near where we were, but
Mhm.
it's definitely a little bit sticky, and they're trying to really get down to that 2% rate. So theoretically, if you have unemployment who's very healthy right now, and you have inflation who's being a little bit sticky,
Yeah,
less likely to have rate cuts. Now,
exactly.
do I think we're not going to have rate cuts in the next two? They seem very adamant that they're going to. I
Hmm.
would be shocked if they were more than 25 basis points. I don't know about you.
Yeah, same. I would be shocked if they're more than 25 basis points. My emotions about what Fed interest rate cut we're going to see vary multiple times per day. So it's not exactly the most consistent barometer in the world. But the market's been like that. I mean, the CPI numbers came up this week, and you saw the market not really like those numbers. And then we got PPI numbers. The price index
Yeah.
came out on Friday, and that's why the market was up like 300 points.
Yeah, it's back and forth. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
because those came in below where the CPI would have been, right?
uh, I think super core inflation is the best one. But um, here's the unemployment rate, right? So this is what I did that video on last week, so you can see we're getting safer. But everyone was like, "Hold on, you can't trust that data." To be fair, that's okay. I agree. It's technically not the most accurate a month after. So the way that the BLS data is actually calculated is through these surveys. They have like 600,000 surveys that they go through. So the first release, meaning the first month, so month after, these are how many are actually reporting, right? So in terms of percent, so you have, hovers around 70-ish percent of surveys are reporting. So you're missing, 30% of all surveys. That can definitely change things. So people are like, well, why don't you look at historically, how much do they change? Gotcha. All right. That was a good question. I like that question. I'm glad you asked it. Thank you. Here is just from March 2020, all times that it was actually revised. So you can see the first initial. You can see the first revised, second revised, third revised as you go farther and farther out. And then you can see the actual numbered, this is employment levels, and then the actual percent change. So to be fair, it was usually within 0.1. There was one big one here. I don't know what happened there.
1.5, and there's one like a couple of 0.2s, but
Yeah.
most of them are 0.1.
Most of them are 0.1, which, I mean, when you're talking about a variability of 0.3, 0.1 is kind of a lot. So that can change things. So that's fair.
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
I wanted to shed some light on the antithesis of TLT.
Okay.
All right. This was a trading view. So I'm just gonna read this real quick. This person is calling for TLT to be negative very soon. I don't
Yes.
understand how that's going to happen, but we have an extremely strange set of circumstances of the Fed, parentheses, don't know what that means, is cutting rates and has promised to have delivered a soft landing. All the while, the number one contributing factor to inflation is wage inflation, yada, yada, yada. The inflation has gone hyperinflationary on the back of supremely strong and, might I add, faked jobs numbers. The market rallied at the same time. To be clear, faked is a strong word, but they could be revised. That's definitely real. At the same time, the 10-year yield shot through the fucking roof. Combine this with the fact that the VIX futures were preeminently disconnected from the VIX as a smokescreen. All this amounts to a fundamental paradigm shift in economic policy that is shifting fast toward an unbacked dollar. This new world order seeks to control the population through the most cost-effective means possible. It is for this reason alone we will witness any and all government bonds for the first time in history going negative. No, they will not be paying interest on these bonds they owe to the other nations. They will be avoiding payments before the great collapse. America is all of a sudden a third world nation with a populous one nation under slavery.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty sure
So
this person watched World War Z a few too many times. I mean, I was trying to give the entire position a little bit of credit until I saw New World Order, and then
Yeah,
I just
same.
where's my tinfoil?
Yeah, I was because I have a lot of money in this, so I take the antithesis. I always try to look at it as like, okay, if I were to bet against this, would this be a good bet? So I want to take every single one seriously. So like the comments that we have in some of our videos are like, hey, this is a bad idea, and it's like an educational like, hey, this for this reason, super appreciated. That's great. This is horseshit. So I don't I don't.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, there are valid criticisms to unemployment not being like a true and accurate barometer, right? Because like people talk about labor force participation rate, people talk about people
For
like
sure.
working in gig jobs, people
Definitely
that are
valid.
underemployed or part time only. Like there's a lot of things that are valid criticisms of jobs data. But New World Order, yeah, you kind of lost me there.
I will say a lot of the comments that were saying that we're all saying what you just did. All very valid. Not we're gonna be slaves. They were all like very valid comments. So we appreciate that. Let us know what you guys think. I feel good about TLT when this is the antithesis. So makes me feel a little bit better. Let us know what you guys think.
The old world order will ride again and will profit on TLT.